Hello, it's Corrine here and welcome to my craft channel, Corrine Crafts. I hope you are well. I hope you've been doing some lovely crafting. Today we're going to make this card. We're not going to do a lot. I'm not going to go through a lot about the card. I will tell you how I've made it, but it's all about making what appears to be our wax seals. And I've actually done them using hot glue and a seal. I'm also using my molds. You've seen me use those before, but if you haven't got wax and you want to do it, we're going to line it behind a little bit of paper and we're going to do that. So I thought that would be a really lovely look to achieve today. I hope you like it. It's kind of a little bit different, really simple. Sometimes you don't want to put too much on because you want it all to focus on the most important bit of the project. So there we go. We're going to have a look at that. Let's see how I made it. Okay, so I think I might have got a bit carried away. I've made a few faux wax seals, some with better success than the others. Some of these are showing you my ones that I learnt the process on till I've got to the point where I've got one here that I'm really happy with. So just excuse these, but I just wanted to show you this is me going through the process until I get something that I'm happy with. So I have shown you how to do wax seals, and I used the wax seals, and I used my wax seal melt template before, and I'm actually going to use this. I wasn't using this at first, and then I found I get better ones, so I will be using it. But this was made with wax pellets, which you heat up and then you put then you pour them out and then you stamp with your wax seal, with your your brass seal. But I thought not everybody has wax melts, and always you might not have the colour that you want. So I thought, how about we have a go? So I cut some little circles of card in the colour that I wanted, and then I made some wax seals or faux wax seals out of hot glue, and then I coloured them with a gold pen. So this is an acrylic paint. I did try it with gilding wax, but I didn't like the effect. Didn't work. That's what I'm here to do, show you what does and doesn't work. So I'm going to show you how I did this. I've got my glue gun on, any hot glue gun you want. So I've just got regular clear glue glue stick in there. That's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do these round. I'm not going to do a fancy Dan shape. So I'm just going to pop that in there. Now this is a little bit smaller than that size, but that's fine because the next size up that I could cut was too big. So this one's just a little bit too small, but it works really well and actually looks really neat. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hot glue. Oh, before I do that, I need to show you an extra bit. Now I saw this from Christine Stokes. She was making like little wax seals and things out of buttons, or with the hot glue gun, and she was just putting buttons into them and then peeling them away. But what she did was she put a little bit of hand sanitizer on first. So I'm going to steal that tip because this works brilliantly on wax seals. I found these have all been done just without the sanitizer, and it worked, but I found that it peels away a little bit easier if you use sanitizer. So there's a tiny bit of sanitizer there, and I'm just running it over the edge of my seal. So I'm going to leave it there. So then I'm going to take my piece of paper in my mold and I'm going to pump some hot glue in there. Make sure you put plenty in. Right, that's 5 pumps. Now what I want to do, put my glue gun down, is I'm just going to centre that back up into the centre of the mould, just there. And I'm going to pick up my wax seal and I'm just going to dab it onto my cloth. And then I'm just going to get that into the wax seal and I'm just going to press down. Now this one's gone a little bit bubbly, but hopefully it'll be all right. I'm just going to give it a little tap to get some of those air bubbles out now. So now you can see the hot glue has gone right up to the edge of my mould, and I just need to leave it there for a second. So I'm going to stop talking, then I can cut this. When I say second, it's less than a minute, but we'll come back to that in 1 minute. Okay folks, that's been about 20 seconds. So all I'm going to do now is put this up, and I'm going to pick up my mould. Look at that, and it just peels straight out. So I have glued the paper to the back of the hot glue, and then all I'm going to do is peel that away, and it's coming like that. Now this one's gone a bit bubbly and I don't know why. I perhaps was just a bit not very good with my hot glue gun, but I'll show you my favourite one is that one. Now you can make them without the paper, and this one was done straight into the mould. So but then all I would do is I get my acrylic pen. Do you know what? I haven't pumped this for ages. I'm just literally using the residual glue. So I just go over the top, and this one, like I say, it's got a few bubbles in there, but they'll work. It actually helps with that sort of boho shabby chic look. So then I'm just going round the edge, just drawing in the rim of that. Now you can put in as much as you want on there, and then I can just leave that to dry, and that is now my gorgeous coloured faux wax seal melt. So if you don't put them onto the paper to begin with, if you think, oh, I'm going to make a load in clear and then just put them on when they're done, all I would do is I'm just going to go all over the back with some hot glue. That will actually just slightly melt the glue that's already there. So I'm just actually rubbing it across with the nozzle because the nozzle's nice and hot. And then I'm just going to take another disc and I'm just going to pop it over the top. There you go, you can see that just sits there, and then we can do the same. Now one thing I have found is the longer you leave them, the clearer the glue goes. So if you sort of make these today and then come to use them tomorrow, the glue loses some of the cloudy look to it. But that's just how I found. It's just the glue that I'm using. I don't know whether that's all hot glue does, but my hot glue has definitely gone a lot clearer. And there you go. Now I could have done that in silver. I've got my pens here, my acrylic pens. So I've got the white, the black and the silver. I've got loads of different colours of acrylic pens in the drawer. I could have done it with any, but I sort of got the gold out and forgot about all the others. So you can see that was doing it with the paper in the mould and doing it straight on. That one was doing the glue into the mould, and this one you can see it's not as perfect. That was doing it without the mould. So you know, you're getting different looks. And change the paper, and that's with the silver pen. I wasn't using enough there. Now this one's a little bit cloudy because I've tried it with some gilding wax first, and you can see the gilding wax can taint the, and you can see it's done it here, taints the hot glue. And again, that's just another one. I've definitely found I'm getting better results if I use the mould. Okay, so once I've got one that I really like I say, these are my sort of trial ones. I don't think I'll necessarily keep many of these. Oh, and I tried with different wax seals as well. I like the heart. Just kept going back to the heart. Okay, so I've got those and I want to make a card. So I'm just going to make up a quick card. I'm just going to get rid of that sanitizer off there, and we're going to use that one. I'm going to keep my hot glue gun plugged in, and I've done most of this, but I'm just going to show you what I've done. So the first thing I've done is I've done a piece of card 4.5 by 5 inches, and I've used a Lisa Horton 3D embossing folder, and I've just embossed that on there. And as you can see, it's a lot smaller than the embossing folder, but it works absolutely. Actually goes that way around. If I get it in it, you'll actually be able to see it click. It'll just click into place there. Look, there you are. Look, it's just clicked back into place. There we are. It's a 3D embossing folder. You don't have to do the whole size. But one thing I do like to do is I like to cut my card to the finished size before I emboss, not after. I just like the effect on the edge. But it's whatever you prefer. So I'm gonna keep that nice and white, and I'm gonna pop that onto some white card. Now, if you remember, it was 4.5 by 5, but I'm actually going to stick it onto some card that's 4.5 by 5.5, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'm going to make sure the border is the same top and bottom. I'm using my Collal glue because I like the rigidity that this gives, and make sure I fill up all those 3D indents. I think this works so well with a 3D embossing folder. Look for whatever embossing folders you've got in 3D, because I just think the extra definition just really pops on white. And don't be afraid to use white. There we go. So I'd make sure my border's the same side and top, and then I'm going to pop that onto some white, and I was going to go straight onto some gold which looks lovely, but I'll show you. I've done it so many projects, just adding in that extra layer, very thin layer of white, for me, really, really makes a difference. I'm just going to pick that up. I'm going to pop that on there. And it really is, it's about 1/8 of an inch. We talk about 1/4 inch borders, where I like to work in 1/8 of an inch. I just think those, look at that skinny border just looks lovely. Now this one, I actually just took the centre out of that gold because my gold is too precious. So I'm just going to go around the edge. Don't worry about that gap at the bottom. I'm going to show you in a minute. And we're going to do that round there. So I didn't put glue in the middle. I will glue in the middle in a minute when I turn it over. But that's now, pop that on there. And doesn't that look elegant with those 1/4 inches? I took a card suitable for a 7-inch square. So they come out at 6 3/4, and I just trimmed it down. So it was a 6 3/4 inch square, and I've just trimmed it down. Let me see what I've trimmed it down to. 6.5 by 5.5. So there we go. You can see. If I just show you just a minute, and once I put that on, don't forget to glue on there. If you look at, let me just go. Oh, make sure it's even border. If it's not an even border, get it even on both sides, and you can always just take it back to your guillotine. But I think that is, oh no, that's not straight, is it, on that side? There, that'll do. There we go. Right, so if you remember, the blue was 4.5 by 5.5 by 4.5 that way. So that's 5.5. Now that is 6.5. That was 4.5, and that is 5.5. So I've gone up for 1 inch in all my layers. So I've got this gap at the bottom, which isn't looking quite right. So all I've done is I've cut another strip of the blue in exactly the same width. So that would be, what would that be? So it's just over 4.5, but it's just over 1.5 inches in depth. So that's going to go on to here. You could actually do 3D glue just to, if you wanted to level it back out, but I'm not going to. So all I've done, I actually used the same piece. So it was a piece I'd cut, and I just cut down there. So I knew that was going to be exactly the same size, because that was one strip. And I've just taken that bit. Now you could cut that neat and do it this way, but I like the layers. And then I've taken 1.5 by 4.5, and I've stamped a sentiment onto it. And that sentiment, I will show you once I've stuck that down, is from Craft Box 46. If you have the Crafter's Companion craft boxes, I have broken all mine down now. Well, I wasn't using all the bits because they were in boxes, so you didn't see. So this is Craft Box 46. I write on here, so it's got lots of lovely sentiments, and I had the birthday wishes just there. Okay, so there is my card base, looking lovely. And I'm going to bring in the wax seal that I wanted to use, and I'm going to put that onto some white and then some gold. So you can see, if I bring these in, I just had 3 sizes of my nesting circle. So this one I've done on the white, on the pattern, this on the white, and this larger one I've actually cut out of gold, just to match all of those. So I'm going to pop a little bit of glue on the back of here. It's absolutely fine to use my collal because I'm gluing paper to paper. I'm not gluing the wax. If you want to use your hot glue gun, then you can. My hot glue gun is actually still plugged in, and I'll show you why in a minute. And then I'm going to put that one, oops, that's moved, and then that one is going to go on to there. So I've now got that gorgeous wax seal. I hope you like that. Doesn't that look lovely? Now, yeah, that would look all right, but maybe not. I had a really big play with this, and I had a die that cuts out like lots of hearts on strings, and I was going to do that, but then I changed my mind because I found this foliage die that I really liked, and I've decided to go with that. So what I did was, that foliage die, if I can show you, was a lot. It had foliage on that side, but that was too busy, so I cut it down, and I actually used some of the bottoms from here, and I've extended these. Can you see just there? I've just extended it, but that's going to be, we're going to hide those workings. So I'm going to pop these on. So I'm going to put on a blue one first. Don't worry about this coming off here. We'll sort that in a minute. And then a gold one. Again, I've extended it, but I'm just going to bring that down. I want it at a different height. they're not soldiers standing to attention. We want them at all different heights. And then I'm going to get a white one, but I need my white one to go on top, otherwise it won't show. And I could just, what I'm actually going to do is, now I've got these there, I'm actually just going to take that bit off there. It's too busy. There we go. And I'm going to do the same on this one. It's all right on the blue one, I think. If I need to change it, I will in a minute. You can always cut into all of your die cuts. So let's put the blue one back on. This is why we always do placement before we stick down anything down, before we commit to the stick, as we say. Then I'm going to put the gold on. And you can see this one is level with there, so that's why I didn't need to cut the blue out, off the blue. And then I'm going to pop the white on, bring that down a little bit, just to there. And do I like that? Does that look all right? I think it does, doesn't it? That looks really pretty. So I've not stuck them down, so I'm going to bring in my hot glue. I'm going to just think, oh, that's still moving. Come on, stick down. Okay, that's going to go across there. So I'm going to hold that down. And I'm just going to put a big blob of hot glue just there. Just like that. And then I can put my gorgeous seal over the top. So my seal goes over those 2 layers. Just like that. And then I'm going to come in with some pointy scissors. I'm going to do it very carefully. And I'm just going to trim these. Again, to different lengths. I don't want them all the same. There we go. I'm going to do that. Now, all I would suggest you do is, I'm not going to stick the foliage down a lot, but at the moment that is very free flowing. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of glue under a couple of little elements just there. I don't want the top stuck down. I like that freedom, that, you know, where it moves around. Sort of movement. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue under here, but only a tiny bit, just to stick that one down, and then tiniest bit of glue just under here. There, that'll stick in a minute. There we go, it's sticking. And that is all I will do. Isn't that, see, look at that, see, everything just moves at the top, but it's stuck down from this point, and that still moves. Isn't that pretty? So if you want to have a go at your wax seals, but you haven't got any wax, bring in your hot glue. It works brilliantly. Now, I will link to the moulds. I will link to some seals so that you can see them, and I will also link for you to a hot glue gun, probably a Sticks 2 hot glue gun. I like those. I love this. It's got quite a clean and simple look to it. Yeah, really, really gorgeous. But all the links, that's the word I was looking for, are going to be down at the bottom in the description to all the products and all of the other bits I need you to have a look at. So please pop along there, and please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'd love to have you on board and make sure you're not missing any of the tutorials. I try to post 4 times a week. Getting a bit harder now, I'm working, but we'll keep trying to do 4 a week. So I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, happy crafting.